Hello and welcome. In this quick demonstration, we will look at FortiSOAR's Threat Intel Management solution, which makes a debut in its recent 7.2 release. Okay, before we go into the demo, here's what it offers in a nutshell. It offers a comprehensive threat feed management solution, native integration with FortiGuard, basically allowing you to have unlimited lookups into the rich FortiGuard database and consumption of FortiGuard feeds in various capacities. Most importantly, it offers ways to create and consume actionable and contextual threat intelligence. Okay, so let's start looking at a few of these things and how it helps analysts and SOC teams to better their investigation workflows. Okay, let's start with the threat feed management section. Here, using a wide variety of feed integrations available in the Content Hub, the SOC teams and the analysts are able to create or to ingest these feeds in a seamless manner and get a normalized and an aggregated view of the feeds, as you can see, right? So this feed module, this threat feeds solution is well architected to handle scale at one end and also allows ways to manage the feeds better in terms of managing the source and feed confidence, the feed TLPs, the expiry of the feeds, and many other such parameters which help to manage the feeds in a better way, right? So now coming to data sets. As we know, often the noise in the feeds is considered to be a problem in managing the feeds or deriving utility out of the feeds, right? So as a first level of filtration, the solution allows you to create data sets. For example, let's look at one of these COVID-related feeds data set. A first level filtration in terms of, I require feeds which are COVID related, so I can, choose a combination of some tags that are interesting to me. And in here, I also apply a confidence of greater than 60, right? So you can create multiple data sets based on different goals or different first level of filtrations that you have, right? And then use them while you're creating actionable threat intelligence. We'll come to that. Okay. So that was around threat feed management, right? So let's also look at the dashboard, which gives you a very good insight into how, what's the ROI, what's the effectiveness, what's the ingestion rate of the feeds, how many observables were ingested, how many of them got linked to the indicators, what are my relevant feed sources, and things like that, right? So that offers a, value addition in terms of monitoring the threat feed performance, right? Moving on to threat intelligence itself, right? There is where we believe, a lot of value add of the solution, because alone threat feeds can be, can often add a burden to the analysts where, they do not have an idea of what to consume and what to leave, right? So there is where, actionable and contextual threat intelligence, the ability to create and consume such an intelligence comes into picture. So let's start looking into a, quick example and understand that. Okay. We will look at two quick examples of how the whole workflow around creating threat intelligence helps, right? First, let's consider an example where the management is requesting the threat intelligence team on information around a particular actor group. Let's say they need more information around APT34 in Middle East, in let's say the telecommunication industry. A very clear goal, right? So what does the threat intel team do? They have the ability now to create workspaces. You see these workspaces, right? So one of the workspaces they have created here is the APT34 in Middle East, right? That's the goal. Now you have the PIR linked here automatically. You can add more contributors in this workspace, right? Basically allowing you to do a very comprehensive research, right? And this workspace is as you see, is split into multiple phases aligned to the threat intelligence life cycle, where you just collect and process, you analyze, and then finally share the actionable insight that you have, right? In terms of the collection, you can add, you can use data sets that you have created earlier from the feeds, right? You can add more data sets. You can add variety of correlations, be it from the MITRE intelligence framework around its techniques, sub-techniques, tools, etc. Or it could be, something varied like vulnerabilities, notes, comments, indicators, anything, right? So after you collect, you move on to the analysis stage where, you look at, how these things are correlated, you jot down your findings, right? You also have task management available here in case you have a wider team to do the analysis. And finally, you have the ability to share the threat intelligence, right? You can just say, hey, I want to just generate the threat summary report of my findings. I want, I just want this to be assigned back to the, the person who raised the request so that I can get some more feedback and etc. I just generate the report and this reaches to them, and the feedback loop starts. If it's actionable, if they are happy with it, maybe the detection rules will get better, or they will use it in variety of ways, right? So that's one way of how you can use a workspace. But the other way, how SOC teams can also interact with it directly is, let's say, consider this phishing alert in this case, right? This is, the bread and butter. You receive such alerts every day, and the management has asked the SOC teams, the moment you see this COVID related stuff, just better get some insights from the threat intelligence teams, right? So as part of the practice, what does the SOC team do? They need more intelligence around this, URL, which does not have much reputation from the standard enrichment sources. So what they do is, they say, hey, I want to raise a priority intelligence requirement, and similarly, they raise a requirement to the threat intelligence team, who again gets a requirement, and they create a workspace around it. For example, they start investigating this URL, they will do a whois, they will find related IPs, maybe there's a bunch of things that will be, relevant here, and they will add it back to the firewall team. This whole dialogue will start making, detection and prevention a lot more meaningful, right? And last but not the least, there are also standard ways available to share, these the threat feeds data, right? For example, you can enable a taxi server. So any other platform having Stix taxi capabilities could consume this data. Apart from this, there are also standard ways to do a CSV export, so that some other tools could also do a plain CSV import of the filtered data and make use out of it. Yeah. So yeah, we believe that that this solution which helps you to gather data, to consume it, to process it, and then leading on to how you're able to prepare insights and share them, right, in a way that the SOC teams are able to leverage it for better investigations is and should be very helpful. Thank you so much.